Vinegar Syndrome's 2023 subscription is $980, and here's why you need it. Good evening, everyone. My name is Celeste Lacabre. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time discovering my channel, please consider hitting subscribe. If you enjoy thoughtful and in-depth discussions on art house and cult films, come be a part of our gay cinema club. And if you're returning to the channel, then thank you so much for stopping by and giving me your time once again. Today is the 4th day of Vinegar Syndrome Subscriber Week, which is the only week of the year you'll have to be able to subscribe for the entire year of Vinegar Syndrome releases. So, sorry I didn't get this video up earlier, but for those of you still on the fence, or for those of you who have missed all of this and are just now hearing about it, you still have time until midnight on Saturday. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and really break down the 2023 Vinegar Syndrome subscription. So essentially what we're going to be doing here is really getting into the nitty-gritty of the numbers behind the value that you get in the subscription, as well as really going into what is included with it. I have just concluded my halfway subscription for 2022, and I've just renewed my subscription for all of 2023. And so what I'm going to do is really break down for you what it was like having the halfway subscription, what everything ended up costing per title, what my costs looked like after I sold the titles I didn't like, really just being very transparent as to what you can expect as a Vinegar Syndrome subscriber. Now, right off the bat, first, I want to say that $980 is of course a lot of money, and if you are not in a position where you can afford that right now, you know, even if you use something like PayPal, Pay in 4, or a credit card or something like that, like, you shouldn't break the bank to do this. This is for a very specific type of cinephile and physical media collector. So if this doesn't sound like it's for you, or if you don't have the money for it right now, like don't feel too bad about that. All this stuff that's going to be coming out, it's very exciting, and it's easy to get caught up in the hype, but none of it is ever really going anywhere. If you're patient, you can even find good prices on the out-of-print stuff, and lately they've been upping their print runs, and so stuff doesn't really sell out anymore, at least in the Vinegar Syndrome side. Fear of missing out is a very powerful psychological thing, and Vinegar Syndrome is probably the best in the game in terms of marketing, and so it's definitely easy to get caught up in this and feel like you're missing out, or you need to be doing this. But I really just want to start things off by keeping things in perspective and letting you know that it's okay to pick and choose what you want, or to wait for a time when you're more financially stable. Please don't feel bad about that. First, what I want to do is really go into the cost of my halfway subscription and all the details that pertain to that. So if you don't know, in May, it's unclear if they're going to be doing this again this year, but they did last year. Either in November of 2021, you could subscribe for all of 2022, and in May of last year, you could subscribe for the rest of the calendar year, 2022. What that means essentially is that you have basically pre-ordered their entire slate of their Vinegar Syndrome proper releases. This does not include their sublabels, including VSP, VSU, and VSL, or the Picorama titles, and it doesn't include the partner label titles. However, for the life of your subscription, you will receive 50% off coupons and free shipping for any titles released during the life of your subscription. So essentially, you get a Black Friday sale all year, and you've already prepaid for all the titles coming out at the lowest possible price point. So Vinegar Syndrome takes 2 months off throughout the year, and those are partner label only months. So for my halfway subscription, I was sent a package in, I believe it was July, August, September, October, and November. And then they take December off. So that's your 6-month time frame there. The total cost of the subscription was $509.20. And included in that were 6 4Ks, 10 standard singular Blu-rays, 4 multi-film collector sets or box sets, equaling a total of 20 titles, or if you want to break it out, or if you want to count every single film in the collector sets and such, it's 26 films total. Of these 20 titles, I watched every single one of them, and I watched all the supplements, and I enjoyed 14 of them enough to keep them in my collection. And I wasn't a huge fan of 6 of them, and so I've actually already sold 5 out of 6 of those. And I have a very educated guess as to what I'll get for the 6th one. So let's go through all the titles and talk about which ones I kept. Of the titles I kept Shrika the Mutilated on Blu-ray, The Birds 2 on Blu-ray, Righting Wrongs in the hard case slipcase Blu-ray, Buried Alive on Blu-ray, the Amityville Horror 4K, The Incredible Melting Man 4K, The Iceman Cometh Blu-ray, Evil Laugh Blu-ray, the Homegrown Horrors Volume 2 3-film set, Freeway on 4K, Burning Paradise on Blu-ray, Blood Delirium on Blu-ray, Don't Open Till Christmas on Blu-ray, and The Werewolf vs. Vampire Woman on 4K. The 6 titles that I sold were the double pack of 2 Undercover Angels and Kiss Me Monster. I sold that for about $20. That is taking into account all the eBay fees and everything like that. What was deposited in my bank account after the sale was about $20. The Invisible Maniac, I haven't put up on my store yet, but based on previous sales, I've gotten pretty good at this, and I feel fairly certain that I can get $30 for it. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 4K, I actually just sold today for $40. The Hot Snake and Guns and Guts 2-pack, I sold that for about $20 or $25, something like that. We'll just call it 20. We're going to be on the conservative side here for once and call that 20. Mutant Hunt I sold for about $20, and the Forgotten Jolly Volume 5 set I sold for $45. So if we do the math on that, there was a 70% success rate in terms of, I basically bought half a year's worth of films completely blind, and 70% of the ones I received I liked enough to keep in my collection. So this either means I just love the film and I want it in my collection, or for a few of these, I didn't quite love the film, but I appreciated it, and I really loved all the supplemental material, and I really loved the packaging, I love the artwork, and I love the restoration, and so I could see myself revisiting it again, and so it's worth keeping in my collection. So let's talk about what this subscription cost, the halfway, breaks down to per title. So if you were, I'm not going to talk about MSRP here because nobody pays for this stuff at MSRP, at least if you're shopping on their website. I was thankfully sent a spreadsheet of all of the prices of these titles on Vinegar Syndrome's website during non-sale periods. So if you wanted to buy every single title that was released in my subscription on their website at full price, not full MSRP, but full price, that would have cost you $719 or $35 per title. However, with the subscription, the per title cost is $25.46. So that's about an average savings of $10 per title right out the gate just for getting the subscription. Now, if you want to break that down by the individual films, like if we want to count the Forgotten Jolly set as 3 films, then the cost per film is $19.58. The total amount of money that I recouped after selling the titles that I didn't like but still got to watch and appreciate was $170. So an average of $28.30 per title. So we're talking about a $3 increase on what I got returned back to me on average versus what I paid for it when I decided I didn't like it. So if we subtract the cost that I made back from what I initially put in, it becomes $339.20 to get the subscription, or an average of $24.22 per title. I have actually really grown to appreciate the Vinegar Syndrome proper line throughout my subscription, but the initial reason I really wanted to go for it is for the partner label and sub-label coupons. So Vinegar Syndrome has about 21 different partner labels and like 3 or 4 sub-labels at this point on their site. So obviously that's the majority of their site, and there is a huge variety of content throughout all this stuff. And I think even more so than the Vinegar Syndrome proper line, it's unlikely that somebody would like or want all of it, but I'm the type of person who likes a lot of different things. And so every month when they announce partner labels, there's always 2 or 3 titles that I want or sound really up my alley. And there's usually 2 or 3 more that I'm interested in, but probably just won't buy for now, you know what I mean? So to have that option of getting it half off the day it's released and not have to worry about it selling out or waiting for a sale, and I can get it and I can watch it as soon as it's released half off, is just amazing. And I will say that I don't think anything really sold out on Vinegar Syndrome's side during my subscription, but if you're a person who's into slipcovers, there was a lot of partner label titles that only have standard editions now. And if you wanted it, you either had to pay full price or be a subscriber to get the sale price. The difference between the actual cost on their website, because it's 50% off MSRP, but of course, that's not what you pay on the website. So the difference between what you pay on the website versus what you get as a subscriber is an $8 discount, essentially, is what you get on every single title that you don't get in the subscription. So I went through my order history and counted it up, and throughout the length of, or the life of my subscription, I purchased 21 titles that weren't included in my subscription. So at $8 saved per title, the amount of money that I saved just by having a subscription was $168. Now, of course, if you don't want to subtract this from the total, I totally get it, because, you know, it's not like that money is back in your pocket, and you do have to buy more titles to accrue more savings, right? But if you're the type of person who's doing that anyway, if you're the type of person who looks at these announcements and you're like, wow, a lot of these sound really great and I would like to have them, that's $8 that you don't have to spend every single time. And it adds up. And for me, it added up to 168. So if we take that savings and reduce it from our initial investment after we've already subtracted what I made back from selling the titles I didn't like, now our cost is $171.20. We're not done yet. You get free shipping on every single one of your orders throughout the life of your subscription. Vinegar Syndrome is famous for their add to my existing order free shipping option during sale time, where you can place your first order, pay for shipping up front, and then every order you place after that during the sale, you can just add it to your first order and you don't have to keep paying for shipping. It's ingenious, really. It saves you a lot of money, or maybe costs you a lot of money, some might say. But that principle is applied for the entire life of your subscription, and you don't pay for shipping up front. So I never paid for shipping once throughout the entire life of my subscription. I couldn't get a definitive number on how much shipping costs for non-subscribers, but I'm told that it's $5 if you get a small amount and $10 if you get like a big ass box of stuff, I guess. So I wanted to be as conservative as possible to not oversell this subscription or anything like that. Throughout the month, or throughout the subscription, I placed 13 orders. So at $5 an order, that would have been $65 worth of shipping. Now, that's because I get free shipping, that I was able to just place orders whenever I felt like it. Like if I just wanted one title, I could just get it and I didn't have to worry about it. But let's say you consolidated all of your purchasing into one purchase per month. I made my subscription purchase in May, so I made purchases in May. I made purchases in June during their partners only month, and then I made purchases in July, August, September, October, November, and in December for the last partner month. So that's 8 months in which I placed orders. And if you're the type of person who shops there often, that's probably the minimum you're going to be looking at. So if we assume that you only place one order a month, it's a $40 savings in shipping. So let's take that more conservative estimate of $40 and subtract it from our total once again. After all is said and done, the most conservative estimate of the cost of the subscription, the most conservative estimate of the cost at the end of the subscription after selling the titles I didn't like and the savings from the titles I did want that I got a discount on, the total cost for the subscription was $131.20. Now, of course, this is just me. This was my experience. I can't perfectly extrapolate it for you. I don't know how much you shop. I don't know what kinds of things you're interested in, and I don't know how much of the releases you're going to end up liking. Maybe you'll like all of them, which is awesome, because then you got even more releases that you loved. But then, of course, you won't be able to reduce it from reselling. But that's something that I hear all the time, is people are like, I just don't think I'd be into everything. Or I don't think, like, what happens if I get something and I don't like it, you know? Or I'm not even interested. And if you have any experience selling on eBay, it's super easy. But also, if you join the Vinegar Syndrome Collectors Facebook group or any number of physical media groups, and you just have experience with the post office, like, these things hold their value pretty well. And as a subscriber, you received it at the lowest possible price point, and everyone else is being charged the higher price point on the site. If you charge a price that meets in the middle to make up for your shipping costs and what have you, you can make your money back, and in some instances even make money, like the Forgotten Jolly set. Unfortunately, I didn't much care for it. It wasn't really my thing. But I had a great time with the set. I learned a lot. I experienced some new films. As we saw, the per title average was $25, but I sold that for $45. So, I mean, it's all things to consider. Now let's talk about what the 2023 subscription is going to entail. So during subscriber week, right now, on the page where you can actually purchase the subscription, they actually have a pretty in-depth teaser listing everything they have planned out for the year. Now, of course, they don't tell you all the titles, but they tell you, what formats and what type of films you can expect throughout the year and how many releases you're getting each month. And they also say that if they happen to release less than this because of whatever might come up, they will refund you the difference. And if they happen to release more, then you just get more. But as of right now, they are planning on releasing 38 titles, including 10 4Ks and 7 multi-film sets, including a 10-film box set, something that's pretty unprecedented for the company. The cost for all of this is $980, as we've already said, or $25.79 per title, including box sets. I don't know what that 10-film box is going to retail for. It sure as shit isn't going to be $25. So it's honestly kind of astounding to me that they've managed to keep the per title cost relatively the same. It's just more expensive because they're putting out more shit. And if you were a previous subscriber, if you were a halfway subscriber or a 2022 subscriber, as I was, you will have received a $70 coupon. So that brings your cost to $910, bringing your per title average much lower. So that's another advantage. If you end up subscribing and you end up liking it, you'll get a discount for next year. Now, unfortunately, tax was brutal, and it was about $50. But hey, that's still a $70 savings at the end of the day. So that's it. That's it in terms of my hard numbers breakdown. I hope that this all made sense. I hope that my math is all right. If I messed up anything, or if something was confusing, or if you have questions for me, please let me know in the comments. I will do my best to answer all of them. But I do want to talk for a second at the end of the video about, there's all the monetary reasons why this is a good value. But that doesn't mean anything if you don't care about the subscription or you don't care about their releases in general. So I guess I just want to talk for a brief moment about my experience as a subscriber and what I got out of experiencing all these films. If you go on my channel, you'll find a Vinegar Syndrome playlist where I made a commitment to review every title that I received in the subscription, to really put the work in to make sure that I got my money's worth and to relay to all of you which titles I felt were worth purchasing. And so you can get a really good feel for what types of titles they release through those videos. But just as an overview, I just want to say that this foray into all different facets of genre cinema, I was a bit skeptical going in, but I was just really excited about it and I wanted to get into it and I wanted to try this thing because no other company offers a subscription like this, really. And I gotta say, my perspective on cinema as a whole has changed a lot. I have learned so much about so many pockets of cinema throughout this. Previously, I had watched an embarrassingly low amount of martial arts films, and it's still embarrassingly low, but I've seen quite a few more since getting into the martial arts releases that they have sent me. I've gotten to experience films that I had never even heard of before and that were never available in good quality, and I got to experience them in the best quality that they've ever been in. I learned so much about filmmaking, about these different scenes and genres of cinema through all the interviews and the commentaries and the various supplements. And like I said, I think my perspective on cinema as a whole has really changed. I think people really thumb their noses, or they really look down on this kind of micro-budget cult cinema. It's like a meme. Everyone's like, oh, they just put out shit in pretty packages. And I won't lie to you, there were 1 or 2 releases where I was like, that was awful. But I mean, like I said at the beginning of the video, 70% of the stuff I got, I liked enough to keep. And the rest of that 30%, only 2 of those titles I really hated. The others I was like, I see the merit in this, and I'm glad I watched it, but I just didn't like it enough to keep, But either way, even the titles I hated introduced me to new directors, and I had a new experience with it. I really think you can get something valuable out of every film that you watch, even the ones that you hate. So yeah, I don't want to try and sit here and sell you on paying $980 for films you're going to hate, but I think that if you're into this kind of thing, or if you want to be into this kind of thing, there's really not a better crash course for it. And yeah, I just feel like it's really expanded my mind and my tastes, and it's overall been a highly rewarding intellectual and emotional experience. I don't work for Vinegar Syndrome or anything like that. I just see a lot of people curious about it, and I wanted to come on here and just help make this all more accessible and really kind of give you a peek behind the curtain as to what it's like to actually subscribe to this and break down the value of what you get. And then you can make an informed decision for yourself either way if it's worth it for you. So that's all I have to say for today. If you enjoyed this, if you found this valuable, or if you would like to continue to engage in thoughtful, in-depth discussions on various facets of cinema, please subscribe to the channel. Again, comments would be wonderful. I pride myself on fostering an inclusive, thoughtful, and kind community here on YouTube, so comments that are in line with those values are greatly appreciated. Again, if you have any questions for me, please feel free. There's no dumb questions here. I'm here to help. Liking the video helps me out in the algorithm and such things. Share it with anybody that you think might find it valuable. There's links in the description for my social media accounts, should you like to be a little bit more intimate with me. And in a couple seconds, you're going to see a screen pop up where you can click on my Vinegar Syndrome playlist and watch those videos and learn more. So until then, I will see you in the next video. Hail Vinegar Syndrome and hail Satan. Bye.